Hey, what's up everyone? It's Ryan with Tucker Poles and Filter Systems. Today I'm out here in Southern California cleaning some solar panels on top of this rooftop, and we'll be using our Tucker RTM Mini robot. I'm going to go over a step-by-step process on how to use that robot with one of our filter systems too. Let's go take a look. For this project, we're using the Tucker Max output. It'll give us pure water at the gallons per minute that's required for the robot. We've got a water source coming from the warehouse into our cart. Today we'll be using the RO only mode, so we have the hose plugged into that going to the rooftop. To power the booster pump that's on the filter system, we're using a generator from Harbor Freight. This gives us more than enough power, or you can use a wall source. Now that we're on the warehouse rooftop, you can get a good idea of the project we're working with. This is 4,240 solar panels. It'll take us about a day and a half with 2 robots. We clean these panels twice a year, so you can see even with that routine schedule, they're still pretty filthy. They've got a lot of dirt fields around this warehouse. They've got an airport, so a lot of activity, a lot of road grime. This customer has no problem getting these panels on a schedule. They understand the ROI that comes from it when cleaning these. They know that they perform better. They're going to get more money back on their investment. A good rule of thumb when using any filtration system of ours is you always want to use the largest diameter hose that you can before you get to the areas that need the smaller hose, whether that's going into your pole and feeding the brush or coming around to go into your Tucker hose reel over here. We wouldn't want to restrict and come up the rooftop with a 3/8 garden hose when we can come up with a 3/4 garden hose, then hit our Tucker hose reel that is 3/8 to feed the robot. One thing to keep in mind is that you do not want to have the battery on when connecting any of these sockets for your brushes or any other component. You want to make sure that you have the battery off and unplugged, put your connections on, and then go ahead and turn on the battery. We always like to run 2 people per crew. That allows 1 person to manage the hose, 1 person to operate the robot. A lot of the job itself is just the hose management, not getting caught in these rows right here with the blocks and the gaps in the metal. The robot itself can easily be picked up on its own at a weight of 61 pounds. So not a big deal there. You can see her coming now. These rows give us plenty of room to walk and feel safe with no issues. Anything smaller though could present a problem. You can see the difference already between clean panels and the dirty ones. Each brush head has 4 jets that are indicated by the red circles on top. We like to line up the one on the left to the top of the solar panel so you get a good clean rinse as you make your pass. This robot was specifically built as a mini series, meaning that it takes 2 passes to clean each row of solar panels. As you can see, our technician moves slightly forward, then backs up to start his new pass. At all times, the bristles are moving forward, pushing the dirty water ahead of the robot, leaving pure water on the backside. For this layout, we are looking at a pitch of 12 degrees, so no problem for the robot to clean them. We also ran into some sections where the panels weren't flush between each other, but that was no issue for the robot to go from one to the next. All right, we're off the site and I have the robot back in my garage. I wanted to go over some of the hose connections and controller setups. That way you have a better understanding of how this thing operates. I will have to take the robot off the stand because of the gap detection centers that are in each corner of the main body. It won't allow me to run the tracks right now. I did actually try that, tested it out to see if I can get this to move while on the stand. But because those sensors are so far from the ground, it's not allowing it, which is showing that that fail-safe works. Going over to the water supply and the hose connection, we will have a male quick adapter that'll be set up to the arm of the robot. So what you'll need to get is just a female quick coupling, which I like to use one that might have an on and off valve. And that way you can pop it into there. You're all set to go. I would recommend using a smaller hose for the inlet of the robot. Normally in our case, we'll use a 3/4 or 5/8 as I mentioned in the video leading up to the filter. Then you have a smaller 3/8 hose that goes to operate the robot. This will make it easier to manage. Instead of a big garden hose that you're floating around from the rows, you're going to be able to use a 3/8, still supply the robot with one of our Tucker units. Okay, let's go over the battery operations and making sure that you connect all your connections prior to setting up the battery or plugging it in, turning it on. So your 2 connections to the brushes. I have the battery that is plugged in. I can hit that on, or the switch on. Hope to close this up. Now we are ready to go with the robot. To connect it to the controller, we're going to start with pulling our fail-safe switch, emergency switch. There's an on and off button right here. You can see that it's going to stay red until we connect it to the robot. So I'm going to press this switch. It vibrates, indicating it is now connected to the robot. We can use manual mode, which is just going to allow you to operate the robot without cruise control. You can move it left or up and down, left and right. Now the brush heads are not on. To do that, you just press this brush head button that activates the brushes. So now they will move forward every time we go forward or backwards. You move that way, the brushes are going to move all the dirty water this way. You move the other way, the dirty water is going to move it the other way. So you always will have the water going the direction you need it to, pushing forward off the panel, leaving the final rinse with the jets right here. To deactivate the brushes so that you can move around a carport system or from row to row without them being on, you just press this button again, and that'll turn them off. For cruise control, we're going to go from manual to autonomous, and the goal is to set your speed control to the desired setting that you would like. To activate the speed control, you're going to press this button and move the lever as far as you want it according to the speed you're looking for. We're nice and slow. You want to go back the other way. Now you can move the robot left or right to reposition it, and it's still going to go on its own. The ultimate failsafe would be to press this button right here, but there is multiple ways you can turn off this robot. You can pull your failsafe back. We'll reconnect. We'll go back to autonomous mode. You can also press the stop button. So you have a few different ways to stop this, but the ultimate failsafe switch would need to press that. That'll completely cut off everything. You also have the gap detection sensors that'll help you in that sense too. Okay, let's talk about charging batteries and setting them up to run your robot. You will get 2 robot batteries and 2 remote control batteries. The remote control batteries are real easy and simple. You have the remote control charger right here. Plug it in to the end. It will indicate to you whether it's charged or not. Green being that it's charged, red would mean that it needs to be charged. For the robot batteries, we will use this charger right here. It is also, both of these chargers are included in the kit. You have an on and off switch for that battery charger. Now you will need to turn this battery on to get the charging process started. So we would plug this in. We would set this on, and we would turn on the charger. You may see that it would be at 100 initially without the charge going into effect. But once we get this started, this would drop if it was needing a charge. And this will cycle on and off as it's charging. You may hear it creep on. You might hear it turn off. Usually a couple hours for a cycle. And then you're all good once it hits 100. Okay, as we wrap up this video, I've been trying to think of anything else that I need to mention, but that's really about it. There's no other components or parts that need to be hooked up before you start your process. It is a true one-piece design, so the brushes are all set up, ready to go. As time goes, there will be brush wear. That'll be a couple years down the line. You will be able to adjust this right here to compensate for the brush wear. So as the time goes, you'll be able to change this to push them down, keeping the cleaning effective. That's a wrap, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's video on how to set up the Tucker Robsys Mini. Please like, subscribe, or comment on this video. As I grow and continue my journey with Tucker and any content in general, I hope that this editing gets better for you guys to all enjoy. Have a great one. Peace.